Today we're going to see page 62 and 63, okay? Lesson 5, page 62, página 62. New content. Repeat after me. Pottery. To knit. A knitting needle. A cathedral. A cemetery. A graveyard. Horse-drawn. A carriage. To bury. A gravestone. A burial. To bowl. Bowling. To crouch. To punch. To squat. To lift. A skittle. A dumbbell. Clay. And a bowl. Okay, so clay is a thick, heavy earth that is soft when wet and hard when dry or baked. It's similar to ceramics. You use clay to make pottery. Pottery is something made of clay by hand, like a plate or a bowl where you put fruit and pasta in, okay? When you think about pottery and clay, think about ceramics. To knit is a verb. It means to make clothes using two long needles to connect wool or another type of thread, okay? So we can knit a scarf, knit a sweater, and the needles we use are called knitting needles because they're very big and different from ordinary needles. They're also very thick, okay? To bury is a verb. It means to put a dead body or something in the ground. You can, when people die, we bury them. Or you can also bury a time capsule, as you guys saw in a previous lesson. We saw a time capsule. You bury a time capsule too. A cathedral is similar in Portuguese. A cemetery is also similar in Portuguese, but it's where dead bodies are buried. It's where we bury people after they die. A graveyard is similar to a cemetery, but they have a small difference. A graveyard is next to a church. So a cemetery doesn't really have a church in it. A graveyard does, okay? A gravestone is a stone that shows where the person is buried, their name, date of birth, date of death. So you have where the person is buried and a stone erected there. There it's written the name of the person, when they died, when they were born, all the information needed. Sometimes they also have a last sentence, the last thing they said, or a quote they loved. Some people do that. Then we have a burial. A burial is the ceremony connected to the act of putting a dead body into the ground. So you have, when you bury the person that died, you have a ceremony, which is a burial, okay? A carriage is a vehicle with 4 wheels, usually pulled by horses. When they are pulled by horses, we say they are horse-drawn, okay? When they are pulled by horses, they are horse-drawn. A carriage can also mean separate parts of a train where the passenger seat sits, okay? So it can be the carriage that is horse-drawn or parts of a train, okay guys? To bowl is a verb. It means to roll a ball along a smooth surface. You do that when you're bowling, when you're playing bowl, okay? We have the game, we say a very similar word to this game in Portuguese, okay? A skittle is the objects that are shaped like bottles that are knocked down by a ball or a bowl. So the ball we use to bowl, we call a bowl, okay? Like the bowl we put fruits and pasta in, okay? To crouch is also a verb. It means to bend your knees and lower yourself so you're close to the ground, okay? So, for example, when your teacher is at the reception printing stuff and the lower printer, I crouch there like an idiot and wait for the papers to come out. To punch is also a verb. It means to hit someone or something with your fist. A fist is the closed hand. So this is to punch. Okay, guys? To squat is a position yourself close to the ground. Sit halfway, so to speak. You do it in the gym. So squats are something people do in the gym. They remind you a bit of crouching, but crouching is different. Squats. I'm imitating squats. I hope you can notice it. A dumbbell is a short bar with a weight on each end, okay? So you have a bar, usually metal bar, and you have weights here and a weight here. And you do this, where you lay down and you have to lift it, okay? To lift is another verb you guys are learning. Lift is change the position of something. The thing was low and you put it in a higher position, so you lift, okay? For example, this book was on a table here. I took it from the lower position and put it in a higher one. I lifted it. You do that with dumbbells when you're at the gym, okay? So that's our new content, guys. Let's repeat. Pottery is the skill of making something with clay, such as a bowl or a plate. How many squats did you do at the gym yesterday with the new dumbbells? The cemetery next to the cathedral was full of people waiting for the horse-drawn carriage to arrive. Many people knit as a way to relax and feel less stressed. The man bent down and crouched beside his wife's gravestone as he arranged the yellow flowers. My mother bowls every Thursday, and lifting the weight of the balls has made her stronger. He punched the wall with anger as he watched the burial of his friend. Children like to crouch when they are playing on the floor, and adults have to bend down to talk to them. Okay, guys? So let's repeat. Now let's practice. What type of sports involve crouching?
Sports that involve crouching are athletics, baseball, and bowling.
Have you ever made any pottery?
No, I have never made any pottery.
Do you know how to knit?
Yes, I know how to knit.
Do you think it's easy or difficult?
I think it is difficult.
Okay, well done. In what time in history do you think it was common to people to travel by horse-drawn carriage?
I think it was common to travel by horse-drawn carriage in the 16th century, before simpler forms of horse-drawn transport were used.
Could you lift a 40-kilo weight easily and carry it for 1 kilometer?
No, I couldn't lift a 40 kilos weight easily and carry it for 1 kilometer.
Me neither. What do people normally write on a gravestone?
People normally write the name, date of birth and death, and a phrase about the person or their position in their family.
Do you know what is written on the famous singer Frank Sinatra's gravestone?
Yes, I know what is written on the famous singer Frank Sinatra's gravestone. The best is yet to come.
Where was the last king of England buried?
The last king of England was buried in a St. George's Chapel near Windsor Castle.
Is there a difference between the sport bowling and bowls?
Yes, there is a difference between the sport bowling and bowls. Bowling, you throw the ball and need to make the skittles fall over, whereas in bowls, you need to slowly throw a ball to make it stop as close as possible to another ball.
Okay, how large a dumbbell do you think you could lift?
I think I could lift a 5 kilos dumbbell.
I couldn't even lift like a 1 kilo dumbbell. Is it important for somebody who punches people because of anger learn to control their feelings?
Yes, it is important for somebody who punches people because of anger learn to control their feelings.
How long after a person dies does the burial happen in your country?
In my country, the burial happens 1 day after a person dies.
Why was the burglar crouching behind a trash can?
The burglar was crouching behind the trash can because he didn't want anyone to see him.
What is the difference between the words graveyard and cemetery?
The difference between the words graveyard and cemetery are that although they both are places where we bury people who have died, a graveyard is normally next to a church, while a cemetery is a separate place.
Do horror and mystery films sometimes include people digging graves?
Yes, horror and mystery films sometimes include people digging graves.
Are the train carriages in your country generally full at 7 a.m. in the morning?
Yes, the train carriages in my country are generally full at 7 a.m. in the morning.
What is the difference between a cathedral and a church?
The difference between a cathedral and a church is that a cathedral has a bishop and its head is much bigger than a church, and it is normally one found in large cities.
How many knitting needles do you need in order to knit a scarf?
I need 2 knitting needles in order to knit a scarf.
Which world-famous cathedral caught fire in 2019?
The world-famous Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris caught fire in 2019.
If your eraser fell under the table, would you need to crouch down in order to pick it up?
Yes, if my eraser fell under the table, would I need to crouch down in order to pick it up?
How can people make their arms and shoulders stronger?
People can make their arms and shoulders stronger by lifting dumbbells.
Are graveyards nice places to be at night?
No, graveyards are not nice places to be at night.
Okay guys, this is our new content. Study the new content, guys. Just because we don't have a revision doesn't mean you can just forget about it, okay? Next lesson we're going to correct our workbook, okay? Don't forget to send me pictures of the exercises I asked in a separate page. Or if you can leave it here at the reception, okay guys? See you next class.